Hi, Tan here. Lipos are sensitive. This is a TPU printed sleeve. It's about 3 layers thick, and you just put it through. Basically acts as a protection layer, but of course, if you were to still smack it at full speed against a bando, taking out all 4 or 6 cells with it, this thing will still not save you there. But at least this added layer of security will help you against more like skids or dragging along at a tarmac road or something like that. But I don't want to leave the guys without a 3D printer in the dark. Other ways that people usually protect their lipos is they would buy a larger heat shrink and then they would put it on and then heat shrink it in. And the other way, I also hear cut rubber tires or something like that. Now that's something I just heard, I've not seen it applied. So yeah, onto the video that we make this TPU sleeve for the lipo. Let's measure our lipo first. Let's draw a standard 3D rectangle. Now for the length of my object, it is reading 37 millimeters. And for my width, it's actually reading 31. But I can see that it's a little bit puffed up, so I'm gonna give it a bit more leeway. 33 millimeters. And finally, my height reads about 75. I'm gonna hit it at 77 millimeters. Now, if you haven't already downloaded Meshmixer, it is a very handy tool for 3D printer owners, where I personally use to cut up my STL models as well as make 3mm, 2mm holes and other things like that. And the best part about Autodesk Meshmixer is it's free, so just feel free to download without any problems. Alright, when you first open Meshmixer, you have 6 options over here. Just import a bunny. So on your left side, there should be some icons over here. If you click Meshmix, under the primitive tabs, there should be a bunch of typical shapes. So let's drag the cube in and hit accept. Now objects in the 3D space can be clicked and highlighted. Where you can see the layer is at the top tab, click on view and click on show the objects browser. And as you can see, we have 2 objects. Since we don't need the bunny for this, we'll just delete the bunny, leaving us with the cube. And when you have the cube selected, click edit and click transform. Now pay attention to these 3 size adjustments. You can click into the number here and type in the number you would want. For example, I want a perfect cube of 3 millimeters each dimension. So type 3, 3, and 3. Now I just Ctrl Z back. So with this cube selected, let's conform it to what we want. I want to make this the bottom layer of the lipo sleeve. On the y-axis, which is upwards, I'm going to type 0.8. Now why I've chosen the number 0.8 is because my 3D printer prints in 0.2 millimeter per layer, meaning that this is a 4-layer base. And for the size X and Z, I will refer back to my drawing. 33 on the first value and 37 in the second value. And hit accept and drag in a second cube. So I'm going to make it 0.6 thickness. For the Y, since I know it is the height, I'm going to type here 77. While for the X, I'm first going to start out with the number 37. So while you're in the transform mode as well, all these shapes as well as arrows are basically manipulation of the model's position. So you'd move the arrows to correspond to your desired direction or rotation. So since I have this wall, let me just drag it and align it. Like so. And once I'm happy with it, I hit accept. Now in your objects browser, I'm gonna name this base. I'm gonna name this wall 1. So I'm going to duplicate wall number 1. The icon is down here beside the garbage can, duplicate. So what I've essentially done is made a second wall. And this wall number 2 is currently directly on the position of number 1, a direct replica. I'm going to transform and drag it out from where it was to the opposite side. Next, I'm going to make a duplicate of wall number 2. Now wall number 3 I intend to do for this other 2 ends. So I'm gonna go over to edit, hit transform, and I'm gonna manipulate the degrees. If I hold on to the green plane and turn it around, if my cursor goes out and traces this clock over here, it will move in 5 degrees. So I'll navigate to 90, and then this value of 37, I will change it to 33. And I'm going to align it to the back. And finally, duplicate wall number 3, creating wall number 4, and drag it to the other end. And just like that, very straightforward, I have a 3D model. And I'm going to save this model as Avonic 6S1050 sleeve. So when I save it directly to the folder, it is going to come out as a .mix file. And this is not something you can drag into Cura yet. Before you export it to an STL, you should combine all of the layers first. So you would click on the first layer, hold shift and click on the last layer. And this menu will pop out on the top left here. You would hit combine. It'll make it into one single layer, and that is ready to click export, and I'll just name it similarly. And that STL file is ready for you to drag into Cura, and you'll be able to print it in TPU with your current best settings. Just slice the object and save it as a G-code file, and you can send it to your 3D printer to print. Anyway, sleeve up all your Lipos for the best chance of it surviving. I hope all your Lipos live long and healthy lives. Thanks for watching.